we go through it. I also need aesthetic wipes. So these I just pre-soaked with water, cold water, and then I wrung them out so they're not going to drip all over her. So these are just prepped to the side. So these are ready. As far as everything goes for this, that's all we really need. And then we'll also need some gloves, which I have gloves. They have to be latex free. Latex free in the fact that if they are not latex free, the latex starts getting super gooey because the chemical peel breaks apart the latex, and if they have a latex allergy, which a lot of people do nowadays, it's just not good. So I actually do. I never wear it, but I always have gloves. Fine. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna start with pre-cleanse. You see something about her that I should avoid pre-cleanse around? Her beautiful lashes that are colored too. So I'm not gonna go around the eye area, but I'm just gonna take a moment to pre-cleanse the skin. So this is our oil-based cleanser. And in chemistry, likes attract likes, oils attract oils. So we always start with pre-cleanse to remove anything that's on the surface of the skin. And this is my first time feeling her skin, so I'm feeling for any texture. I'm feeling for any like texture as far as like dead skin cell buildup or areas that feel a little bit more rough than others. I'm also feeling for like under the surface microcomedones or under the surface congestion. One of her concerns is breakouts. So I'm literally feeling for those breakouts. I'm also looking at her skin, so if the client is concerned with hyperpigmentation, do I see that hyperpigmentation? So that way I'll have a better idea as I move into face mapping, a little bit more about her skin than what I did just from her consultation card. And this is Coquina Barrage Seed and Apricot Kernel Oil, so they're all plant-based oils, but the best part about pre-cleanse is that when you add water to it, it emulsifies the product and all of the pre-cleanse will actually come off of the skin versus like a coconut oil where it's not emulsified with water, and that's when we get a lot of like clogged follicles and congested skin when we're using products that don't actually come off. So you can see it's turning into a milky white consistency. That's the overall goal. If it doesn't turn into the milky white consistency, that pre-cleanse, it's not off the skin. So you just add a little bit more water to make sure that it's completely off the skin. And then we're gonna go through everything. I have aesthetic wipes, I could use those. I'm gonna go with sponges. It's just preference. Just to make sure that the product has been off of the skin. Are your piercings in a little? I'm having deja vu with ABT. Because I worked on somebody that had piercings. I was like, are your piercings in? I always just ask because if you hit a new piercing the wrong way, it does not feel good. Okay, so once I have pre-cleanse off of the skin entirely, I love when there's a skin therapist on the bed because they like help you out. They'll like do this with their lips. So you can like get. Okay, so once pre-cleanse is off, we're gonna move into face mapping. So Lauren's concern is post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation and breakouts. So the breakouts she actually has relatively under control. She's using products at home right now to target the breakouts. But she's done this Pro Power Peel before and she's used Power Clear already, which is great because that's going to target the activity. Power Clear is great for post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation and breakout prone skin. Looking at her skin, starting on the forehead, so I mean, Lauren's skin is beautiful. It's super smooth and soft. Even the post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation from past breakouts, when I go over it, it feels smooth. It's super smooth. It's not like a healed breakout that is continuing to heal. But I do notice some of that post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation in the center of her forehead. Around the outer perimeter of her forehead, absolutely nothing. Super, super clear. It's more in the center. Going down to her nose looks clear too. There's a little congestion. Everyone has it, to be honest with you. Even like the driest skin, we use thick, rich moisturizers, so it gets stuck in like the little teeny tiny follicles. So we could always do extractions on clients, but not during Pro Power Peel. So that would be like an alternative treatment the next time she comes in if I wanted to do it. And then the cheeks, so for Lauren's cheeks, most of her breakouts are actually on the sides of her cheeks. So I asked her earlier, what side she sleeps on, cell phone use, I was trying to think of things that would be on that specific area, because it may not be exactly what's causing the breakouts, but it can be aggravating them a little bit more. And it's on both sides. So this could also be hair products, shampoo and conditioners, being super active and working out, and you just sweat in that area and it drips down. So we kind of had this conversation. It could be hair products is kind of like where we kind of sat with that already. But what I want to do for her moving forward is I want her to start incorporating pre-cleanse on a regular basis, because I want to make sure whatever could be aggravating that specific area comes completely off of the skin. So that's my add-in for her. Other than the breakouts on the sides of the cheeks and a little bit in the center, her skin is super clear around it. So I'm going to be targeting that today. And then going down to the chin area, a couple breakouts on the side of the chin, under the surface congestion, and literally no under the surface congestion around the jawline, which is, to be honest, relatively rare, because we always have like a couple, it seems like. So super smooth in the areas that don't have breakouts, some post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. Couple things about my face mapping, you might notice that I started at the forehead and I worked down and I never went back. So it's just a professional tip. If I start on the forehead and I start going down to the cheek and then I go to the chin and then I work it back, it just doesn't feel so professional. Also, a tip with face mapping is to use more than one finger. So forehead, cheeks, chin feels more professional than creepy touch. Creepy touch is like this, right? Because sometimes we get nervous, right? So we're like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Also, I'm talking, and even if I wasn't presenting, I would still be talking to her, because there's nothing worse than getting face mapping and being like, like they don't know what you're thinking. So vocalizing, having conversations, if you didn't ask them what they're using already, ask them. You know, this is a lot of education that's happening too. So I'm gonna move into her second cleanse. For her second cleanse today, I'm gonna use special cleansing gel. I'm gonna make it a little bit more exciting. This is for combination skin, which is perfect. Special cleansing gel is a concentrate, so you need, I don't know if you could tell, but I like barely tapped the professional size. You need a little bit of this product. Even the pumps that come in the kits, like you just need one pump if it's the 16 ounce. I'm gonna add water to it and get it nice and foamy. Special cleansing gel is a retail product. That means that clients can use it at home. I'm gonna make it into something a little bit more exciting, because this is a professional service. So I'm actually gonna whip it up and aerate the product so it turns into a foam. Same product, just different feeling. This doesn't smell like anything. It uses collagen saponiferum embalmment are in the ingredients. That's what makes it super foamy. There's a little lavender in there too. But if I want to give it some aromatherapy, I can add in a couple drops of calming botanical mixer. A lot of people use this for their steam towels, but I like to use it in products. A couple drops. So now I have a completely different experience than special cleansing gel that they're used to. And this is going to be her second cleanse. So this is for combination skin, it's best for, but really it's a good, safe bet. If you find that special cleansing gel is super drying, you're probably using a lot of product, way too much product to be honest, and you're not foaming it up enough. So always start with less and add more if needed. I could literally cleanse her skin probably 3 more times with the amount that I used. And then I'm just gonna go through, I'm gonna add a little bit of water just to help it move around a little bit more. I'm gonna go through and do her second cleanse. So the benefit of doing a double cleanse is, oh my gosh, the lashes. The benefit of doing a double cleanse is the first cleanse removes everything, so the second cleanse can actually treat the skin. If I try to do one cleanse to do everything, that's a lot of effort for one cleanse to do. So to give you an example, if I had a client that had dry skin, the first cleanse would remove all the dirt and the debris and the moisturizer and SPF, anything that's on the skin. And then the second cleanse would be creamy and would actually treat the dryness in the very beginning of the service. So the second cleanse is generally water-based. So it's meant to actually treat the skin type, which is why we always do a double cleanse. I'm literally working right over your piercings, by the way. You can always have your client clients remove their piercings. Sometimes it's annoying, but I'm gonna work right over them. Also, don't avoid that area though, unless you have to, but if you've ever had facial piercings before, it's like so much dirt and like everything gets stuck around it. So it's always good to like get in there. And then I'm just gonna make sure that the cleanser is off. So that's her double cleanse. So her skin at this point is gonna be super clean to actually experience the peel. We have to have a clean canvas before we get started. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, now the fun part. So I talked about post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation and acne, like breakouts, right? Did I say anything about aging? Did we say anything with aging? So that eliminates 2 of the peels already. So process of elimination is the best way to do it. That doesn't mean that over time she won't start thinking that, like focus on premature aging, but for right now, for today's service, hyperpigmentation and acne are what we're gonna target. Okay, so that leaves me 2 peels, and she's an experienced peeler. She's already had this peel before, so I can get a little bit more creative instead of just doing one layer. I'm gonna put my gloves on, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So with the Pro Power Peel, I'm gonna be using Ultra Bright, which is for hyperpigmentation, and salicylic acid Power Clear to target the breakouts. The good thing about Lauren's skin is she actually has very few active breakouts. It's mainly just post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation that's left over, so I wanna lift it and brighten it. So for me, I'm already thinking of home care. What is she using to exfoliate on a regular basis? How can I brighten it up even faster? And how can I get her back in probably for 2 weeks? Her skin it looks resilient. We'll see in just a minute to get her to do additional peels so I can build on the results. So I'm gonna first start with one-step prep, and we're gonna go through sensations for her. So I'm gonna ask her on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being like she can't feel it, 10 being like most intense, what her sensations are. They're probably gonna be really low, to be honest. So the first thing I'm gonna do is one-step prep. This is the prepping solution, the degreasing solution. That's lactic acid, alcohol, and witch hazel. And I'm gonna do 2 droppers per application. So 1 dropper is this, press, release. They're pre-calibrated, so you don't have to like try to fill up the entire dropper. I'm also gonna make sure I have enough nutrition. Yeah, perfect. And this is the prepping solution. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply prepping, the one-step prep. So jaw to ear, bottom of the cheek, top of the cheek, bottom of the forehead, top of the forehead. Same thing on the other side, jaw to ear, bottom of the cheek, top of the cheek, bottom of the forehead, top of the forehead. I'm gonna fold my gauze in half, go down the bridge of the nose, sides of the nose, underneath the nose, and then underneath the lip. Throw my gauze away, and then check in. Scale 1 to 10. 1 being like you can't feel it, 10 being like most intense. 1, awesome. That's important to note because it's an alcohol base. So if she had a compromised barrier, if you ever put alcohol on like a wound before, it doesn't feel so hot. So if she was at a high sensation with one-step prep, it'd be a good indication to not continue this peel. The next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do hyperpigmentation. I'm gonna truly treat the hyperpigmentation with Ultra Bright. So Ultra Bright is our 30% lactic acid with enzymes, with phytic acid for brightening, with additional HAs. And I'm gonna do 1 to 2 droppers. So press and release. Press and release. This one is more of a gelatinous consistency, so I'm gonna make sure that it's inside the actual gauze. And then I'm still gonna look at her skin and see how it's responding from each additional layer. One thing that's really important with Pro Power Peel when you're giving it is that you cannot leave your client, no matter what. So you can't like run to the bathroom. If they have an active peel on their skin, you chill, right, just for safety. So same thing, jaw to ear, bottom of the cheek, top of the cheek, bottom of the forehead, top of the forehead. Same thing on the other side, jaw to ear, bottom of the cheek, top of the cheek, bottom of the forehead, top of the forehead. I'm gonna fold the gauze in half, go down the bridge of the nose, sides of the nose, underneath the nose, and then underneath the lip. Throw my gauze away, and then check in, scale 1 to 10. 2? Okay. Where are you feeling it the most? Okay. Perfect. So, this is a good indication that I mentioned earlier, skin is kind of bizarre. Is she flushing in that area? No, but is she flushing around her nose? Yes. Right? So, do you feel it around your nose? That's why it's important to know where they're experiencing it, just so we have an idea. What's your sensation now between 1 and 10? 2? Perfect. Okay, cool. So there's a couple things that it can do. It can increase, it can stay the same, or it can decrease. So that's why we just continue to check. Each layer is only left on the skin for 1 to 2 minutes, so it's a fast peel. But I'm just watching and taking a look at her skin, seeing how it's responding. I'm gonna do another layer.
Could her nerves be telling her, like, because with teeth it does that. Sometimes your pain's here, but you're really feeling it over here. It jumps. Could skin do that too?
I'm not sure. That's a good question. I haven't heard of that, but it would be something that I would like not think about.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, I'm gonna do another layer of Ultra Bright. Like I mentioned, she's an experienced peeler, right? So I'm gonna do one more layer to really target that hyperpigmentation. Same exact application. Jaw to ear, bottom of the cheek, top of the cheek, bottom of the forehead, top of the forehead. Same thing on the other side, jaw to ear, bottom of the cheek, top of the cheek, bottom of the forehead, top of the forehead. I'm gonna fold my gauze in half, go down the bridge of the nose, sides of the nose. I'm just like hopping over her piercings, but I'm still working around them. And then I'm gonna check in. Same? Awesome. That's great. So as far as her skin goes and flushing, not much, which is great. A little maybe on the forehead, nothing truly on the cheeks, some around the nose. Center of the, like right underneath her lip is a little pink. You're still feeling it around the jaw. Yeah. Overall, I'm happy with it. So far, so good. She's still at a low sensation. That's okay. The goal isn't to make them feel like a 10, right? Also, the numbers are important, especially if they say, you check in and they're like, oh, I'm okay. Like, get a solid number from them. But make sure they understand what your numbers mean. Because sometimes I've been on, when we first were testing this peel, I was like, oh, what's your sensation? And she's like, 10. I'm like, let me repeat my question. Also, the body's going to be able to tell you their sensations as well. So if you notice that they're fidgeting, right, when we're mentally and physically uncomfortable, we move around. If they're like, what? And they're like twitching, they're not actually at 1. I'm going to do one layer of Power Clear. So this is the salicylic, mandelic, and malic acid. So this is her third layer. Ready? Jaw to ear, bottom of the cheek, top of the cheek, bottom of the forehead, top of the forehead. Same thing on the other side, jaw to ear, bottom of the cheek, top of the cheek, bottom of the forehead, top of the forehead. Fold my gauze in half. Go down the bridge of the nose, sides of the nose, underneath the nose, and then underneath the lip. Throw my gauze away. 1 to 10. Okay, cool. Baby, right? Low increases, which is great. Skin looks good. I'm happy with it so far. Her skin's responding good. 3s, usually we're usually like 3 to 6. Yeah.
So for clients like Lauren, who is experienced with peels but also is a skin therapist, are you going more off of her numbers or are you going more off of what you see?
Both.
Because she kind of knows what she should expect?
Both. I know that she's had this Pro Power Peel before, so that's what I'm taking first off. Second of all, doesn't matter who's on my bed, I treat them like the same, whether it's a client or a skin therapist. Honestly, honestly, skin therapists are the worst, to be honest. They're the worst. Like, you crazy things on your
Oh,
skin.
you missed it.
That doesn't make like the biggest difference.
Okay.
But that's a really good question. Does that answer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna spot treat as her last. So for spot treating, I have options. If I'm spot treating in a specific area, I have to do the exact same application that I did. So for instance, if I'm doing the jaw, I'm gonna swipe on the jaw, right? Because that's following it. If I'm doing the cheek, I'm still gonna do those cheek movements. If I have a client that has one area of hyperpigmentation or like a gnarly breakout, I'm just gonna press that gauze on that area and lift. That counts as one layer. This, 46 layers, okay? So you just press and release, so that's important too. So I'm really just gonna target her post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. So the jaw, see how clear that is?
Yeah.
Super clear, super clear. The only area with PIH is right in the center. I'm just gonna press and release. Power clear.
How long do you press for, or is it dependent on the person?
Couple seconds. Yeah, couple seconds. I am gonna target her cheek area. So I'm gonna do bottom of the cheek, top of the cheek, because she does have a couple active breakouts in that area that I wanna treat as well. Same thing on the other side. Bottom of the cheek, top of the cheek, forehead, it's mainly just in the center. But if it was like all over, I could do her swiping, right? So that is like one round of spot treating. Throw my gauze away, check in. How you doing? 1 to 10. 3? Okay.
Okay, I have a question. You guys have those new under items.
Yeah.
So will we put that on at the beginning and just go with it? Okay.
Yeah, because if you do it after, you might overlap the acids, and then they literally have like a red line.
Because you have to leave that with this one.
Yeah. I'm gonna start getting myself ready to neutralize. Her skin responded beautifully to this peel, which is so great. I can't wait to feel it. Like my favorite part is the neutralizing solution because I can feel the skin. This is gonna remove the peel. You can see I took my gloves off. If you want an all gloved treatment, totally fine. Just make sure that there's nothing on your gloves and that you neutralize the acids off of your gloves too. So I'm gonna go in with neutralizing solution. 1 to 2 pumps of neutralizing solution onto my hands. And then I'm just gonna work this into the skin. Sometimes the skin will feel a little hot. I mean, the skin will always feel hot because of us just doing the peel, but the actual product actually feels hot too. And then I'm just going to do this on her skin until she doesn't feel any activity. This feels like a dry oil, but it's literally just meant to take the product off of her skin. The lower their sensations were during the service, the faster it's going to take them to neutralize. If they have a high sensation, she has to walk down the lather, right? So it's going to take a little bit longer. And I'm literally just doing small movements to bring the product around. I'm not doing a massage where I'm like, yeah, super delicate. And you can even do some decoatment. That feels really nice. Working on areas that they felt it the most, you can kind of bring your fingers towards that area.
So Andrea, I know it's neutralizer, but do you feel anything on your hands?
Yeah.
Just like baby smooth.
Okay. So my
The Ultra Bright can pill up. Like sometimes it feels like you'll feel like since it's like a gel, you can feel it. It's not their skin. As cool as it would be, it's not. Yeah. Yeah, like a gommage. But that's super common. Also, some of our acids have a chemical reaction where if you apply the neutralizing solution, it starts staining. It's not, you're not burning them or anything. It's just like a chemical reaction of the product. But that can happen too.
Different.
Do you feel it anywhere in specific areas? No? Okay, perfect. So she's good. I'm gonna start removing. So once I remove the neutralizing solution, there's no active peel on her skin. This is the very moment in time where anything I apply on her skin is going to penetrate as fast as possible. So I'm going to take advantage of that and apply a serum right away to target her goals. And I'm going to remove the neutralizing solution with cold aesthetic wipes. At this point, it's considered a cool down, right? So I'm not going to use like gauze or sponges or anything. just to make sure that the product is off of the skin. And the product is like a bizarre texture, the neutralizing solution. So we wanna make sure that it's totally off of the skin.
Question.
Yes.
Let me ask.
So did the neutralizing solution bring her pH back up to where it's supposed to be?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And just to be clear, the one step and the neutralizing solution, they aren't part of the five
Layers?
layers that you can do, right?
No.
Um,
So even for her too, like, I technically could have done another layer, but I didn't really need to. Like, I targeted what I needed to. The next time she comes in, maybe I'll do 5. It just depends on her skin. Maybe I'll do more layers of ultra bright versus powder clear. You know, it's just gonna depend. And maybe I'm gonna mix them. Like, you can get creative. You don't have to do like the same service. Do you feel it on your skin at all? Perfect. Okay, so as soon as I'm done with the neutralizing solution, I'm gonna go with my finishing product. So this is what she's gonna leave with on her skin, okay? So I'm gonna start with a toner. Multi-active toner is incredible. It's hydrating, it's aloe vera. Ultra Calming Mist is what we generally use after a chemical peel. It just has more calming and soothing properties because we just peeled them. So you're gonna feel a mist, okay? Just like lightly mist their skin. Lightly mist. And then I'm gonna go in with let's actually do, I'm gonna do an ion active. I'm gonna do Power Bright Ion Active to target the melanocyte cell that causes pigmentation. If I was treating active breakouts, I would use the niacinamide. She doesn't have very many active breakouts. It's more the hyperpigmentation. And that was the first thing that we talked about, so I know it's her primary goal. So this has niacinamide and hexylresorcinol, just to regulate the melanocyte cell. So I don't have to spot treat it. I can just put it everywhere, and it'll also help with preventative. You need about an almond size, and then you just place it on the entire face, just gently, so we don't absorb it in our hands.
Okay, so how often can you use that after the pill?
After the peel?
Yeah.
What do you mean? For your personal use?
Mhm.
You could do like 2 or 3 times a week.
Okay.
Yeah. For the average client, I would recommend the Age Bright Clearing Serum or Power Bright Dark Spot Serum, like one of the retail ones.
So these little ones that you have there, are they mainly for after peels?
Yeah, non actives? I'm gonna just
Yeah, they're all just for use, so, right.
I'm hydrating her a little bit more because the skin tends to get a little bit more dry after a chemical peel. So I'm using skin smoothing cream. She uses Active Moist on a regular basis, so this is just one step up than her normal. And then sunscreen is the next one. We use a physical sunscreen. So post peel we go invisible physical defense. It's a 20% zinc. In that case, a pro tip that I love is taking a couple pumps of Ultra Calming Mist to have it move around a little easier. And then I'm gonna just make sure that she's nice and protected after.
So how do you word it for, your client on what to expect they're gonna experience after receiving?
After receiving the chemical peel,
So they don't have you freaking out that their skin is tight and itchy.
I would just let them know, we just did a chemical peel on your skin today, so this is a little bit different than the regular services that we do on you on a regular basis. Your skin might feel a little bit more dry after the service. Your skin you might start peeling. It's completely normal and totally okay. If you feel like your skin gets a little bit more dry or a little uncomfortable, go ahead and spray multi-active toner or Ultra Calming Mist throughout the day. Hydrate as much as possible. But what we just did is created a controlled wound. So you're gonna have some of those delays in your treatment. Don't worry, it's only for a short period of time and then it will revert back to normal. Okay,
Thank you.
yeah, of course. It's just like communicating, right? So the communication aspect is the most important. I think a lot of what we forget to do is communicate with our clients with the expectations. It's so much better to over communicate with them. And let them know too, as far as peeling, you might experience peeling, you might not.
Okay, so you also have to let them know that they might have a breakout too,
If it's bringing it up closer to the
because
surface.
it's bringing it up.
Or for
Not to
hyperpigmentation,
freak out.
sometimes it gets darker before it gets lighter.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, breaking out, if they're under the surface, it's part of the healing process. It actually has to go through that phase in order for it to actually get out of the skin. The only way you can catch it before is usually with like salicylics as a preventative or high frequency. Wow, you're such a great client. You're so still. Really? Heck yeah. Okay, cool. At least you're still answering me, so we're all good. Okay, so I'm just gonna make sure that this is nice and blended in. And that's the chemical peel. So fast it feels wrong, right?
Yeah.
Let's get her around